A dad's silent tears, the house was quiet, too quiet. Only the faint hum of the ceiling fan echoed in the empty room. Armand sat on the edge of his bed, his hands pressed tightly against his face, his shoulders shaking but no sound left his lips. He had mastered the art of crying silently. For years he carried his world on his back, never letting his daughter see the cracks in his armor. He was her hero, her safe place. And heroes, he believed, weren't supposed to cry. But every night, when she was asleep, he let his tears fall silent, hidden, and heavy. Armand had not always been this way. Years ago, he had a partner beside him, a wife who balanced his rough edges with her warmth. Together, they dreamed of raising a family, of building a life where love filled every corner of their home. But fate, cruel and merciless, tore her away during childbirth. He was left standing in a hospital corridor, holding a newborn baby girl, while saying goodbye to the only woman he had ever loved. From that day, Armand vowed that his daughter, Mayhuk, would never feel the absence of a mother. He promised to be both the father who protected and the mother who nurtured. He taught himself how to braid her hair, how to soothe her cries, how to cook her favorite meals. Each morning he packed her lunch, and each evening he checked her homework, even when his own body ached from long shifts at work. But behind his smile, his heart carried an ocean of grief and exhaustion. One evening, as Mahak skipped into the kitchen with her drawings, she proudly handed him a picture. It was of her family, her and him, holding hands. Only two figures. When he asked why, she said, "Because we are enough, Daddy." That night, he wept silently again, but his tears carried both pain and gratitude. The world wasn't kind to single fathers. He faced whispers from relatives who said a man could never raise a girl properly. He endured judgment from neighbors who doubted his ability to provide the emotional warmth a child needed. At work, he missed promotions because he refused to work overtime. His evenings belonged to his daughter. Sacrifices piled up, dreams of his own slipped away, but he never once complained. Years rolled on. Mahak grew from a curious child into a young woman full of ambition. She began to notice the lines deepening on her father's face, the tiredness in his eyes, the roughness of his hands. One night, she pretended to sleep and caught him sitting by the window, wiping his eyes with the back of his hand. She stayed quiet, her heart twisting, realizing for the first time that her father's strength had always come with silent tears. When the time came for her graduation, she walked across the stage, her heart racing with pride. In the crowd, she saw him standing tall, clapping the loudest, tears shining in his eyes. But this time, his tears weren't silent, and they weren't hidden. They were tears of victory, of survival, of love that had endured every storm. After the ceremony, she hugged him tightly and whispered, "You don't have to hide your tears anymore, Daddy. They made me strong. They made me who I am." For the first time in years, Armand allowed himself to cry openly, not in silence, not in the shadows. His daughter's embrace told him what he had always doubted, that he had been enough, more than enough. The world may never know the battles of fathers like him, but Mahak knew. And she carried his sacrifices like medals in her heart, because sometimes the strongest love is carried in the tears no one sees.